Hi there, I'm so happy you're watching. Today I'm going to be telling you about bookbinding, and these two A4 sized books I created with Meta Folmer from Book Delphi. In this video I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these books, and at the end I will show you all the pages that are included. It all started when I discovered that my favorite book, the Dina Wakley Ranger Art Journal, wasn't available anymore. Suddenly, this book was out of production and they discontinued making those. And shortly after I started bookbinding myself, I discovered that they had one more production of the smaller book. So that's not this one, but it's this size, and it's approximately between A5 and A4. And this one is a bit larger than A4 size. And what I love about the book is that it's containing burlap, it's containing thicker, well, it's kind of sketch paper. I put some things in. This is my working book. There's craft paper inside. And there is, which is the one I haven't showed you yet. This is from our Vine. And this one I haven't shown you yet. It's the canvas. And I love working on the canvas, on the paper, on the burlap. My least favorite page is the craft paper. You can still buy the Dina Wakley craft paper versions, but I don't like them that much because the paper is bubbling a bit. I will show you where that happens. For example, on these pages, you can see it's not flat. I know by experience that when you lay a book flat, after a while it's getting flatter, but it always bubbles a bit when you put glue on it and when you paint on it. So this is by far my least favorite page. But it's a book containing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pages, and I can easily work on that. And it's just great. So when I heard there was nobody producing these books anymore, I was looking for alternatives, and I dedicated a video to that because I wanted to work in other books than this one. Of course, I want to continue working in this book until it's full. I'm halfway or a bit further than halfway, I guess. But these pages I need to fill before I start a new book like this, but maybe I will do one earlier. I will tell you more about that later. But there's no book like this containing different pages. It's only paper. So you can watch the review, and I think I selected the best books that are available right now. But if you want to have a book with several, well, different kind of pages, there's only one option left, and that's creating your own book. So as soon as I got over the fear of creating my own book, I thought that I needed to work very precisely and neat, and I am not really working that way. I can't handle scissors and properly, and I am just a chaotic worker. So when I thought about creating my own book, I am a book lover, so why not? And the course that Denise Love created, she actually created three online courses about bookbinding. I was really surprised that she offered a course and she didn't it all in the proper way, and she wasn't that neat and precisely as I thought you needed to be when making your own books. So that was really encouraging. So thank you for your course, Denise, because I created my first ever bookbinding project and I sent it to Denise as well for a collaboration. So if you want to see that video, I will add that in the end screen, and I put also a link of the course in the description below. At the same time, I had contact with Meta Folmer about bookbinding. And she gave me this little book, and I discovered it and I tried it out. This was just a notebook, so there are pretty thin pages in it. And I loved the book. I loved working in it. And I asked Meta, well, could you please help me create an art journal, A4 size or even bigger? And she said, well, I will help you creating these books and then you can make a couple of these ones yourself. She is used to creating books in A5 because it's easier to get the material, because all the material that's in the book is leftover material that people gave to her, that she collected. So it's not for free, but most of things are for free. But her bookbinding, she has experience over 25 years. She is a professional bookbinder, and you can see it here. It's neat, but she never measures anything. So she is very good at it. And in 3 sessions, we created these 2 books. And on the first day we met, we only talked and just had cozy moments, totally forgot lunchtime, and we had so much to share in about art journaling, about bookbinding, about, well, everything creative. And we felt like this is so overwhelming. And after that first session, I started collecting the things for my 2 books. You see, I have enough material to work with, and I even came to a 3rd book, which isn't completed yet, but I have already the signatures completed. And Pearl wants to be in a book as well. Unlike Meta, I wanted not all the materials to be secondhand, and it's not because I don't like secondhand, but I want to work on paper what's good and what's thick enough to hold the acrylic paint and to hold the gluing objects. So I chose these ones from Paint On. It's from Clairefontaine, it's from France, so it's not that far away from the Netherlands. I also selected this wonderful grayish green. There was also blue, but it was out of stock, so I couldn't order it. And instead of craft paper, which is also available from this brand, I selected this one. I like the color so much. It's called Natural. And furthermore, I bought some burlap, which is, if you cut it, it's getting a little dusty. I don't mind, but some people are allergic to it. But I love working on the burlap. And then I had contact with another friend, Nina, and she has a furniture upholstery, and she had some leftover fabrics which I found that would be wonderful to use for my art journals, for maybe the covers, maybe the pages. I didn't know yet, but she just gave me these fabrics, and some of these are from a student. This one is from a student, Tosca, and this one is also very nice. This is just a linen bag which you can use for the canvas page. I don't know how it's working out, but I have one included in my book. This is an old curtain from our mobile home with holes in it, but I thought it would be nice to use that one as well. And these ones are from Nina again. So there's a lot of fabric left. So you could say it's expensive to buy all these materials, but in the end, you can make more than 1 or 2 books out of this. So after the first session, I prepared, as they say, the signatures or sections of the books. So this is an example that I haven't sewed yet, but here you can see the book has, it's containing 5 segments, and I included different kinds of fabrics, like this one. This is an old t-shirt from Anthony. And in the second one, there's another piece of fabric, I guess. Oh, here is the bluish, greenish, grayish paper. This is the fabric that Tosca gave to me. So there is a lot of, well, unexpected things in it. And this is the curtain, the burlap. And it's a good thing about making your own books is that you can select the things you want to have in. This is an old jeans. And here, this is one of my favorites. This is from Nina's workshop. So it's really great. And this is not containing enough pages to create a book out. I decided to go for 5 segments and then have 4 pages in it. So I have to add some pages to this one, and then I can bind it. In the second section, we started sewing, and I created holes in it. I created, I sewed them all together. I binded them all together, and in the end, we glued the spine and let it dry. And I think that was what we've done in the second session. And then in the third section, we had all the attention for creating the cover of the book. And in the end, we connected this thing to the cover. Thank you, Meta, for being such a patient teacher and learning me all the skills, all the things you know. You have a lot of knowledge, and I feel really proud of these books. But without your help, I think they wouldn't be so wonderful as this. I am really grateful for that. And above all, I think there's a new friendship because we laughed a lot, we forgot the time, we talked a lot, and it isn't all ended because these are just the first 2 books. I won't do bookbinding for other people. I just do it for a project for myself and to create new books. But there will be a time that we will share Meta's knowledge, and we already have a workshop in my studio which is already fully booked. So maybe we go on and continue with recording an online class about bookbinding. That will be great, and I'm very grateful to have these books. So now I will show you the flip through of the books. This was my first one, so that will be the first to show to you. And yes, of course, there are pros and cons. The pro is that you have really your choice. The possibilities are endlessly to create exactly the book you want. And for this one, I decided to make all the pages kind of the same size. I wanted to work very neat and precisely. And I think, well, loose from the fabrics, I think I've done very well. It was very easy because I used A3 sized paper and I only had to fold it. But even then, I worked very neat and very precisely. And you can see this is a kind of red brownish book containing all kind of things that are in that particular color palette. And here you can see this is handmade watercolor paper. And this is the paint on paper, the fabric again, the natural paper. And I will take this book with us when we have our next trip to France and Spain. The burlap is a bit more steadier, stronger than the burlap in Dina Wakley's book. But this is the one I could find online. And there's a lot of variety in getting burlap. You also have it with, well, that it's woven more in a, this is very small holes, and you also have it in very big holes, but then it's fraying a lot more. This is one of my favorite fabrics. It could be you have to invest in materials and it could be expensive, but it could also be very cheap because you can get a lot of things for free or secondhand. So that's just depending on your wishes. But the best thing is that you can get everything into the right colors and get exactly the pages in the book that you want to have in it. So this one is the final, and this is the end of the book, and I will show you the other one. And this book is more like green, the bees, green colors, and I also like the back side of this one. And I'm looking forward to paint, but I don't know if I can paint on this at all. So maybe I will just add some paper on it, or I will use this color for, well, doing something with this color on this page. I don't know yet. And this is black, so I could simply add some gesso if I don't want to work with black, and then add gesso first, and then I can start. But I think, well, I created this book myself, and I didn't create the fabric myself, but it's, well, it's a component of my own created book, my self-made book. So I don't mind if this page isn't filled with full of paint like I normally do. This is the linen bag. So I know you can paint very easy on this page. And this is something that Meta gave to me, a map. And this is a fold out. So there are a lot of options. And some people work with different sizes. Some pages are smaller, some pages are bigger. I wanted to have it all in the same size, except this one. But there are so many options, and this is not the only way of bookbinding. I don't go deep into the process right now because I just want to share these books with you. And this is from, this was actually a tablecloth for a camper. It was secondhand. It was faded and a friend gave it to me. She said, do you want to have it? But then we bought another table and this wasn't fitting anymore. So I decided to use it for my art journal, and see how nice this looks together. The burlap, it's already fraying a bit, but you could also take the sewing machine and make sure that this isn't going to fray, but I love the fraying, so I leave it this way. But you could sew it and then it won't happen if you want to be very precisely. This one is upside down actually. I think I did something wrong with the sections, so this one went upside down. But I leave it this way. I had no other choice. Otherwise, our bees were upside down and I didn't want the bees to be upside down. So this is the back side of that. And this is some more handmade sketch paper, watercolor paper. And this is almost the end of the book. I also love this. Sumatra, fabrication française. Oh, fabrication française. So these are my two books. So I want to say thank you, Meta, for helping me out with this these wonderful books, and I think there's a lot more to come. Finally, I created these 3 pages about how to do-it-yourself bookbind, and this is the full process. And after all, I wanted to create something extra about this wonderful process and these funny moments with Meta. And so I created 2 mini books. This one is one you can open, and this one I didn't have enough fabric to make a book out of it. So I just, well, glued it down, piece of fabric, and this is going to be a mini book that is on this page. So these are 2 mini books about these wonderful books that I've created, and I can say I'm very proud of it. So that was it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on a notification bell so you will see me working in this art journal soon. So make sure you'll be there. I see you later. Bye bye.